Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to a new episode, and today we're going to talk about RIZQ. And RIZQ is a very important topic that everyone keeps looking forward to hearing more about it. And today we're going to know more information about RIZQ. First of all, let's go for the meaning of RIZQ. What is RIZQ? RIZQ in Arabic means it's like the provisions or the sustenance of life that is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's the most important thing in our life. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us as human beings with the desire of seeking for rizq all their life. Like this is their nature. Like countries keep fighting and struggling and people killing each other for the sake of getting rizq. So it's the most important issue around the world. It's the basic desire of the human being. So rizq means in itself when someone grants you something and he's providing it to you and you are just receiving. So rizq is coming from a source and it's like provision, someone who's giving it to you and you are just receiving rizq. And the word rizq is very broad in its meaning. It's not only money. The sustenance and the provisions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not only money. It can be everything that is facilitating your life. For example, to be happy, this is also rizq. To be married, this is also rizq. To be married and not happy in the marriage, not happy with your spouse, so you have the rizq of being married, but you don't have the rizq of tranquility and peace with your spouse. To be married and have a good spouse, and you are provided with the tranquility and peace with your spouse, but you're not happy or with your kids, or your kids are very rebellious and aggressive and violent and they are not obeying you, so you don't have the rizq of your kids' obedience, but you have the rizq of marriage and having tranquility and peace with your spouse. So we can say rizq is everything that is making your life easier and facilitated and peaceful. It's the tools that is leading your life to have it peaceful and easy, and everything around you easy. Your happiness, your tranquility, your peace, even getting the income, your income, the money, it's easy. So this is rizq. When you have everything easy, so you have too much rizq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you have it less in every from an area to another, like if you are happy in something but you are not happy in the other thing, if you have a job that is easy for you and facilitated for you but you cannot find marriage or you cannot be married, so this is rizq you have in one area but the other area is not there. So even if you have a job but you keep struggling with the job, you keep struggling every day, the job is very difficult and harsh and you are not spending a good time in it, you have difficulty in the rizq of this job as well. So where is the place of rizq? Is it with me? Is it around me? Do I get it by my hands? Or where is it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَفِي السَّمَاءِ رِزْقُكُمْ وَمَا تُوعَدُونَ. It's in the heaven is your provision and whatever you are promised. It's in the sky. It's with Him. It's with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has like a bag, a certain bag for you that has everything from rizq, and inside this bag and from this bag He keeps sending you the sustenance of your life according to your level, what you are doing exactly for the time being. Like He judges and He allows under His permission to send you the money for this time, or just I will keep it sometime later. So it's according to your level, because if He sends you the money for the time being, you will be spoiled and it will cause you in a lot of damage and a lot of ruins around you. So He tries to protect you from giving you the money for the time being, so He keeps it for later on. Or He is trying to squeeze you to be stronger, to keep looking for a business so that you be a businessman later on. He's trying to get the strength from you so that He sends you the money later on. This is a rizq. So where is it? It's with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not in our hands. We are just receiving it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending it to us according to how much speed we are doing in our life or the level we are doing in our life. So according to what we're doing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows the permission of rizq or sustenance to reach you. So as human beings, we have an important role as well to have the permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send the rizq for us. And the key for having the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for sending us what is in the bag, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving it to you in this verse. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I created not the jinns and humans except they should worship me. Oh my God. So I just should be worshipping Allah? So I shouldn't be worrying about what I should be doing? I shouldn't be worrying about getting a job? I shouldn't be seeking for getting the money? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking me just to worship Him. Like He created me just to worship Him. Like, should I just keep praying and reading Quran and that's it? So how should I get the money to survive? How should I protect me and my family? So, and let's continue with the verse. ما أريد منهم من رزق وما أريد أن يطعمون. Like, I don't want from them of sustenance and I don't want them to feed my creatures. Like He's saying, I created you, just do the worship. Like, I don't want from you any sustenance. I'm not asking you to worry about your sustenance of life. And I don't ask you, or I don't want you to feed my creatures. My creatures are my responsibility. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking all the loads from our backs and He's asking you, like, don't worry. Like, come here and do the worship. And don't worry about the sustenance. It's my responsibility for you and all the other creatures. But when we go into deep and come to know worship, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, should I just keep praying and reading Quran and doing dhikr? Okay, I'm gonna stay home like this. I'm not gonna do anything. How can I get a job? How can I survive? It doesn't make sense. Because we have misunderstanding in the word worship. Worship is not to only read Quran and pray and fast. It's not only this. Worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's the relationship between you and Allah. It's including inside it the relationship between you and all the other creatures. From the moment you see your neighbor, are you greeting him or not? From the moment you see a cat that is hungry, are you going to feed it or not? From the moment that you're seeing a poor guy who's asking and begging you for money, are you going to help him or not? In the moment when your mother asks you to do something, and if you're obeying her or not. In the moment when you are faithful in committing your job and doing it properly and not sneaking out from your work early. All of these relationships with people, with creatures, with things, all of this is included in the relationship between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the worship. And this is the key for rizq. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending you a rizq based on your performance in all of these sites. So don't come and say that I keep praying 24/7 and I keep reading Quran 24/7, but I'm not making an effort of sending my CV to the companies because I believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send it to me. It's not like this. You need to make some effort physically, okay? But you need to have loyalty and being faithful in your performance in everything. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you as a human being. He asks you to go around, like go in the earth, walk in the earth, but walk in a faithful way. Do it properly. Don't cheat. Don't steal. Don't take something that is not your right, because you are taking rizq by force. You are not taking it like this. He has it in a bag with him, and he will send it to you based on your performance in these things. So what I should be doing, I should be trusting in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by doing my part as well and doing my physical effort. But my physical effort will be less. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless it, like will make it very less. I will not make such great effort to get the sustenance. He will send it to me in an easy way. He will let me do some physical effort because I'm focusing on the other side of worship. I'm focusing on having Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala around me, He is there in my thinking. I am mindful of the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all of my dealings and my relations with people and other creatures. So this is the worship. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I created jinn and human beings to only worship, and this is worship. So when you do your own part of worship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send you rizq, because He's saying again in another verse, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Like whoever fears Allah, whoever is mindful of Allah, He's there. Like you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your thinking all the time. You're fearing Him. You're feeding the cat because you remember Allah. You're feeding the poor guy because you remember Allah. You're caring and obeying your mother because you're fearing Allah. So it's like you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your thinking all the time. So whoever is mindful of Allah, whoever fears Allah, He يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. He will make a way out for him. Like if you have this block of sustenance or for rizq, He will open it for you. He will send it to you in an easy way. How He will send it in an easy way? وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. And He will provide for them from sources they could never imagine. Like, don't worry about the sources. Don't worry about where I'm gonna get it for you. I'm gonna get it for you in the end. But do your own part. What's your own part? يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ. To fear Allah, to be mindful of Allah, to worship Allah. And yattaqillah, or to be mindful of Allah, is also a part of the worship. So all of these are leading to a rizq, to have the sustenance. So the sustenance or the provisions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are associated strongly with my worship, with fearing Allah, with being mindful of Allah or the existence of Allah. He's there, He's watching me all the time. So I need to be mindful of His existence. So this is a very strong relation between rizq, the sustenance and the provisions of life, and the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, we came to understand what is worship from these words. So let's give some examples from like our life. You know, have you come across this time when you have been working on a certain project for years and you haven't got any income from it? Like you did a lot of effort on that project, but you didn't earn anything from it. And then you find yourself working on another project for only 1 month. And then you find that this project is compensating you and is giving you what you have lost and more. And you find yourself that, like, I wasted a lot of time on that project and I didn't get money from it. And I just spent very little effort on that project. And really, it made it up for me. And you find yourself also like posting a lot of CVs in everywhere. And nobody called you. And then you get this call from a place that you have never posted your CV in. This is وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. And He provides him from sources he has never expected. And these are the unexpected sources that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about. So But this is again not neglecting our effort. I should do my physical effort, but if I want that my physical effort doesn't get much, or I don't get a lot of exhausted in the future, I can work on the other side of worship. I can care more about of fearing Allah, but of course not to neglect it totally. Of course not to stay on the couch and saying that Allah will send it to me from sources that are never no, I should be walking in the place. I should be seeking for rizq. I should be like doing my effort. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes those people who are not lazy, who are doing their best to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for provisions, and they are doing their best in life as well. So let's do this link of this verse, like يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Like all mankind, like all the human beings, اعبدوا ربكم, like worship your Lord, worship Allah who created you and those who were before you, so that you may become المتقون لعلكم تتقون, like so that you become from who? The pious ones. Who? Those who fear Allah, those who are mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then let's link it with the other verse, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. And whoever is mindful of Allah, whoever fears, who is pious, Allah will make a way out for him. وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. And He provides from him from sources that he never expected. So if we link it, the first order, أعبدوا ربكم, like worship. What will happen? When you worship, you will become from the pious people. You will become from those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then what will happen? He will provide you from sources that you never expected. So the issue of rizq, or the sustenance of life, is directly linked to the worship. It will be easy and it will be a blessed rizq. Sometimes you find people who are blessed with rizq in their life. They are so happy, they have everything, and they are fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you find their life is very blessed. And you have people who are committing a lot of sins and they are not obeying Allah, and they also have rizq, and they seem that they are happy, and they seem that they have a lot of rizq from Allah. So rizq from Allah, I said before that you have your bag with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has sustenance, and this sustenance is for everyone, for the believers and disbelievers. But the sustenance, when it comes to you and when it sees you that you are from al-muttaqun, from the pious ones, from those who fear Allah, it will bounce back blessings in your life. And when the same rizq is being sent to the one who's committing sins and who are disobeying Allah, it will be sent to him, and it will be bouncing back evil and ruins and damage and depression in his life. So let's come up with an example. We have two persons, and the first person is someone who's obeying Allah. He's from al-muttaqun, the pious one. Like he's committing and he's obeying Allah and committing prayer and committing worship properly. And then he gets the sustenance or rizq of being married, like he's getting married. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending him the sustenance of wife. But this wife is bouncing back blessings and happiness, and she's spreading a lot of blessings in his life, and she's spreading joy and happiness and tranquility and peace. Like he keeps spending all his life with this spouse, with this wife, in a tranquil and peaceful environment. It's sustenance of wife or spouse of marriage. Let's go to the other person. The other person, he keeps committing sins. He's not caring, he's not fearing Allah, he's not mindful even of the existence of Allah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending him also the sustenance of marriage. And because the person when he was asking for this sustenance, he was exposing himself, he was exposing his muscles, he was going to the bars to get the best wife who's exposing her body, and he wants to marry her and to show her off to the whole world and show her body, to be proud of her body around the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving him also the rizq. He's sending him also the sustenance of this wife. Take it. You have the sustenance or rizq of having a wife. But this wife is bouncing back evil to his life. This wife is bouncing back depression and noisy life, like he's distracted in his life. She's bouncing back despair and sadness and anger and fights all the time. And he doesn't have this tranquility and peace that was with the first one. It's the same rizq, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's sending it to you. It's coming to you from your bag. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't stop it. It's there. But it will bounce back to your face, blessings or evil, according to the shape you are in, according to your taqwa, according to the level of being pious, according to if you are fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or not. That's why when we link it to our real life, sometimes you find someone who keeps stealing banks accounts, who keeps stealing money, and he's trying to take the sustenance by force. He's trying to steal people's money because he's not convinced that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send him rizq. He's convinced that he's getting it by his skills and his muscles. That's why he goes and snatches it out from people. When you check him and check his life closely, you will find that he has, for example, a child who is not speaking properly, a child who is suffering from any disorder. You will find that his wife is someone who is very depressing and noisy, and she doesn't give him the peace in his life. So he's taking the sustenance. He's already getting the money. It's fine. It's in your life. You have it, and you took it by force. But you will have damage from the other side. So he doesn't realize this. He doesn't see it. But you will have damage everywhere in any side. When you take it this way or when you snatch it, you will have the damage in the other side. That's why you don't find that everyone is the same with rizq. That's why you find always holes in everyone's life, because not everyone is perfect. And to be from al-muttaqun or from the pious ones is not an easy process. That's why you find someone who is having lackness in a thing that is torturing him. Why? Because he is not from the perfect pious ones, because he's not from, like, you know, if you do the perfect pious one, if you become from those who are very pious and mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will throw everything under your leg. This is how it works out. But in the end, we are human beings, and it's not happening easily. But I want you to analyze, to link people's life. Sometimes you find we have a lot of believers, and we have a lot of pious people who are very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has even the blessings of life. He is living very well in this life because he's already he's done. He completed all the holes. He finished everything. He's committing prayer. He's fearing Allah. He's mindful of everything around. He's mindful of his relationship with the people around, with the creatures. He's caring 24/7 about every single step he's doing. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending him his bag of sustenance, and this bag of rizq is already sent to him, and it bounces back blessings, more blessings and blessings in his life. That's why you find that his life is very quiet and calm, and he has this tranquility in his life, and at the same time he's enjoying the worship of Allah, and he's enjoying rizq and sustenance and the luxury life of the world, because he completed everything. So what I should be doing, at least to reach to this balance, I should care about ibadat Allah, I should care about worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, should care about finishing committing my prayer on time, doing the basic orders that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked me to do, to pray on time, to remember him, to say dhikr. These are the basic things. And to watch out myself as well, to watch out the way I'm dealing with people around, to watch out if I'm faithful in my job or not, to watch out what I'm doing with the creatures around, with the animals around. Every creature Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, we are responsible for this relationship between us and them. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned all of these worship in Quran. He mentioned everything from this relationship in Quran. All of this is ibadah. All of this is worshipping Allah. So it's not only to read Quran and pray and that's it, and not to care about my neighbor and to cause a noise to the people around, and not to care about the people's emotions. No, this is not worship. You are just doing a small piece of the worship. Worship is including everything. It's A to Z in my relationship with the people, with the other creatures. And this is inside the main thing, which is my relationship with Allah